Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Doctor Who review, episode number 41. Now, last episode we reviewed a John Pertwee story. Now reviewing a Patrick Troughton story with the Abominable Snowman. Two interesting fun factoids with this one. Number one is the second to last story to cover from the 5th season of Doctor Who. And a sad fact about this one. This is actually the most recent anime restoration of Doctor Who release dates, and rumored to be possibly maybe the last one due to the company with making these ran out of money. And yeah, and by the way, I watched it in color, not in the original black and white. Now here's the thing about this one. Because the original, is the whole thing lost? Is there an episode still there? Well, it's a bit of both. Now, there is one episode with this thing that's actually still there. All the rest are gone. Yeah, wiped. Everything else is mostly restored. It's mostly episode 2 that survives this one. The Abominable Snowman has the first appearance of 3 particular type of things. Number 1, the Yeti. Number 2, Professor Travers. He appears one more time after this in The Web of Fear, which I have covered before. Excellent story. And also, this is the first appearance of the Great Intelligence. One of his 2 appearances he makes, of course, across Classic Who, and does not return until Matt Smith's, I believe it was his penultimate season of the show. Yes, I believe it was his second, I think it was his 3rd season of the show. That's when he finally returned. Because it was the whole thing with Clara. Yes, that's when they brought back the Great Intelligence for a few episodes, and has not been seen since then. The Yeti, of course, will appear 2 more times after this. What appeared, of course, Web of Fear, and one Yeti did appear in the 20th anniversary special. Oh, and here's the thing. The roar is a toilet flushing in reverse. That is their roar. Excuse me. Now, of the story here, Troughton, I believe, is the one who's not alive here because he passed away in the 80s. Fraser Hines, as far as I can tell, is still very much alive. Deborah Waltman, who played Victoria, she is also very much alive, so at least the companions are still there. Oh, and here's also something interesting, though. Professor Travers is actually the guy who plays him, is the actress who is Victoria. It's actually her real-life father. Yep. So the story of this one is a doctor is returning a bell to a temple in Tibet, of all places. And he just discovers something interesting. Of course, he also has really cool, interesting stuff. Like, you have Victoria moving camera. Think, oh, is this a creature? No, it's just a doctor in his furry coat. Which his furry coat comes to haunt him. Excuse me. Now, interesting thing comes to this one is that it was one guy I heard that they pretty much changed a lot of the characters' faces from the original story. Like, this one character's got a beard in here. In the original story, he had like a goatee. The only character was a chief warrior. His character was the only one making virtually unchanged. Everybody else was virtually changed for no reason. And also, when this came after the Web of Fear, and I do own it, but I don't remember where it is. I haven't watched it, but I heard that one was not good. I heard that the Yeti appearing in this one actually is a lot more better appearing than that one was. So, the Yeti are under control of the Great Intelligence. Now, Doctor learns over the course of the 6-parter. Now, I originally did watch this story years ago, but here's the thing. I watched it via telesnaps and one full story. This was the first time ever I actually watched this whole thing completely the way through it's in color mostly, yes, but either was kind of black and white. I still found this to be pretty enjoyable. Like, there's a lot of basically like misunderstandings. Now, I'm glad of the fact that the illustration does follow the original story really well. With a little bit of jokes here and there. Now, one thing, they do make some, I would say the illustration ones do actually improve on the original special effects. Because they had one point in the story where they have the Great Intelligence, Alicia's find stuff, which I'm sure probably was a different effect back in the 60s. Like they did also for Fury of the Deep, where they had a control helicopter be avoiding basically tentacles, basically alien seaweed. So the reason why it's 6 parts because some points of the story, the Doctor himself basically is put in prison. Yeah. Okay. Excuse me. Anyways, so and Jane and Victoria had to basically discuss. There's also him accused of murder. Excuse me. Also, Travers is kind of partially insane. Because I think there's an actual abominable snowman around. And by the end of the story, he does find a legit one. But he's stuck with these ones instead. And there's also the master of the order is basically under control of the Grand Intelligence, the whole story. Yeah, he looks very creepy too. I don't remember exactly what he looked like in the original footage, the telesnaps. But man, this guy's creepy. He had this is like his face, his mouth is like tilted like this. And he kind of whispers and has green eyes. In the last story, he actually flies. Actually floats in the air. And he also apparently controls gravity, which is strange to say the least. Now, I don't know if this actually originally happened in the original story. I have no idea. But this story is just so fun. I love this story. And I had always wanted to see this anime restoration of this one because I enjoy this stuff with this one. The whole thing with the Abbott is under control. The Grand Intelligence is interesting to say the least. And by the way, the Doctor does at one point hold experience hand like this. He kind of does, but not to the extent that he's controlling Yeti. He doesn't actually get into Web of Fear, actually. Is it strange that they did the demonstration of Web of Fear before they did this one? Yeah, that's kind of weird. I'm not sure why. But this, really good. I love the story. I give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I like the fact also that Jamie gets a chance to do some stuff. If you want to think of a companion that does so much anything in the story, it's probably Victoria. I mean, she spends more time, not much screaming per se, like she's known for doing. She basically spends part of the time under mind control. Or she doesn't have hypnosis about a doctor. She doesn't do very much in the story. And here's something quite strange about the story when it comes to her. She's the only woman in this whole story. You're thinking, really? She's the only one? There is no other woman in the whole story aside from her. It's all a bunch of guys. Which seems strange to say the least. Now, are they sexist? No. Surprisingly, they're not. Like, they keep referring to her as child, which is interesting for a woman in her 20s. Or actually, more like late. I think she's maybe a teenager, maybe. I'm not sure how old she is, but it's a pure classic Doctor Who story. Now, with this particular story in particular, yes, it is the penultimate episode for season 5 for the 5th season of Doctor Who, but here's something though. How many Patrick Troughton stories do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Surprisingly, only 8 stories. And you're thinking, really? 8? 8 stories? Yes. 8 stories left to go, and then pretty much he's done. Now, there is still a couple stories that I probably won't buy at any point in time. I probably won't watch them online. I'm not going to buy them. One is Unwanted Menace and the Space Pirates. Those two, I have no interest to watch them. Now, I have heard that Wheel in Space does have a trailer that does have a partial animation of the first 5 minutes of episode 1. But that's it. This one I kind of hope will be one because this actually is one time story that's not haven't fully seen yet. But I hope for it. And plus also the story is not only I believe the 3rd time I think it was where... Well, this also was the second last time that Patrick Troughton's version Doctor fought the Cybermen because last time was Invasion. Yep. But yeah, not much else to say about the story. It's really good. Okay, so in the case of Yetis, in case of the Yeti and the Grey Intelligence for Classic Who, all done. Yep, all done. There is nothing else left. Yep, I've already Web of Fear, and I've already done 20th Anniversary Special, so they're done. So, excuse me. You're probably thinking, is there any more Grey Intelligence stories left for Doctor Who? Like overall for the main series? Only episodes appeared in Matt Smith's run, but that's pretty much it. But if you think about it, aside from the Zygon, this is, I'd say, probably the only monster I pretty much covered all the appearances in Classic Who for, is probably the Autons. The Autons appeared twice in Classic Who, twice, and appeared a handful of times in New Who. But apparently the Yeti and the Grey Intelligence now join them. Well, the Zygons, they're one-shot villains who would appear against the 50th Anniversary Special. Yep, but there's still a lot more to cover here for Doctor Who. Don't worry about that. But next Doctor Who one will be a John Pertwee story, and that one will also be the second last story for a particular season. Which one? You'll find out in the future. Not tomorrow. So next up is going to be a Comic Corner, and I'll call it a night. Okay, thanks, Phil. Bye.